A very good evening to you all and welcome to News Tonight here on UBC TV this Wednesday, 4th of February 2026. But first, let's have a look at our top stories. Tonight, Achan Joyce retains PWD Parliament seat as Minister Asamo loses out. Low turnout recorded in Chira as RDC confirms peaceful polls in Chirahura district. Ballot errors spark tension in Hoima as biometric verification slows voting in Kasese. And aviation experts say strong management experience is key to national carriers' future. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Senyomo Yusuf and Rukidi Edward Kijanangama. The Electoral Commission has declared Achan Joyce Okenyi, Bumali Mpindi, Alex Ndezi, Sewagude Robert and Laura Kanushu as the new members of Parliament representing persons with disabilities in the 12th Parliament. The declaration follows elections held yesterday at Nsambia for 4 PWD representative seats. The 5th position of national female representative was unopposed. We have more in this story.
Persons with disabilities representatives to Parliament.
The Electoral Commission has declared Achan Joyce, Bumali Mpindi, Alex Ndezi, Sewagude Robert and Laura Kanushu, who was unopposed for the national female representative seat, as the new members of Parliament representing persons with disabilities.
Achan Joyce Okenyi of NRM, 602 votes.
Achan, who finished first with 602 votes, says she is going back to Parliament to advocate for the increment of the National Special Grant.
Allocated 16 billion and we want to advocate for it to go to 20 billion at least. Because at the moment, the 16 billion in the sub-counties or parishes, they form groups like 5 people in a group and they get 5 million. That means they divide 1 million. And to us, 1 million to inject in a business is small.
Bumali Mpindi came second with 560 votes. Sewagude Robert, the new entrant, finished third. And Alex Ndezi, now a 7-term MP, finished fourth with 275 votes.
Trust my people with disabilities for entrusting me with their votes and giving me the mandate to go and represent you in Parliament.
Asamo Helen, the State Minister for Persons with Disabilities, came fifth with 228 votes, losing her seat. She, however, notes that there is a need to amend the Persons with Disabilities Electoral College responsibilities and structure.
Ours now, we have 2 structures, a Disability Council and Electoral College. And by today, the Electoral College ceases what? Being. And yet the same Electoral College government has put money to elect people from the village structure. At least as the village, the chairman there can become go to the LOC1 council. At LOC2 they can, but when you reach LOC3 sub-county, we begin seeing changes that people can now go for voting, meaning this college now becomes useless. It's a complaint that I've received. People say, why don't we change this council, the college, to become a disability council? 8 candidates contested for the 4 available positions following the early withdrawal of Patrick Sewagude. Out of a 730-member electoral college, 727 voters turned up, marking one of the highest voter turnouts and most organized election throughout this exercise. Pauline Ongoet for UBC.
Chira municipality registered a low voter turnout, raising concern among leaders, including Gwakiso woman member of parliament, Bet Ethel Naluima. She says residents often downplay the importance of grassroots elections, yet these are the platforms where community issues are first raised and escalated for action.
Chira municipality comprises of 3 divisions, that is Boyogerere, Namugongo and Chira division. These local government units play a critical role in shaping the municipality's leadership, with today's polls determining leaders at sub-county, town council and municipal levels. Polling stations across the municipality opened on time and voting generally proceeded smoothly. However, several stations reported low turnout early in the day. At Kamlisiu Primary School, voting only peaked around 11 a.m. due to poor morning response by voters. In Boyogerere division, the race features between Dixon Hakiza of NRM, Faluku Mpanga of NUP and Shiba Mariam Namudu of PFF. In Namugongo, candidates include Donald Bulega Nkalubo, Moses Hawumba of NRM, David Sechezivu Moya of PFF, Gausta Mukasa of DP and Peter Kaziwe, Independent. Meanwhile, Chira division has Silaje Sembuze of NUP, Gerard Chizito of NRM, Richard Kasimbi of PFF, Dennis Chiimba of Independent, Annette Nakandi Independent and Robert Matovu Independent in the race. Key campaign issues include infrastructure development, youth employment and improvement of local services. At Gombe, declaration forms were missing, causing delays in voting processes. Wakiso Woman Member of Parliament, Beth Ethel Naluima, has called on the Electoral Commission to urgently address the matter to safeguard the credibility of the elections.
Well, I condemn each and every electoral violence that has taken place. I condemn the theft that has taken place in Wakiso district. And whichever presiding officer, whichever supervisor of the elections, as far as you are an employee of government or you've been employed in this circumstance, we want to bring you to book. How did this happen? More so at this hour.
Let's go to Chiruhura district now, where the resident district commissioner of Chiruhura district, Abakunda George, has confirmed that elections for LC3 chairpersons, town council mayors and councillors concluded successfully across the district. He thanked voters for maintaining peace and order throughout the electoral process. The aspiring mayor for Rushere Town Council, Amos Matsiko, also commended the Electoral Commission for organizing peaceful elections and pledged to work for the people if elected. Voting in Rushere Town Council began at around 8 a.m. with presiding officers reporting that the BVVK machines functioned properly, enabling a smooth voting exercise.
The situation is calm, although in some way the turn-up is relatively low. They are coming one by one. I have cross-checked with the polling officials. They are telling me people who come and vote, they just go back. So I'm happy that the situation is calm. I hope this exercise will end up successfully and free and fair, because it is being controlled by the BVVK machine. This voter verification machine is helping us. One man, one vote. You have to appear in the register, given one vote, and go and cast your vote.
The market zone, we have had some skirmishes there, but the security personnel are there. They have gone there to curb the situation, and we are hoping that we shall finish in time and successfully. So, and I want to thank the RDC, the DPC, and other stakeholders in security. They have deployed enough. In fact, the president intervened. Is the one who ordered. So with the presence of those people, at least the voters will be comfortable. So, and they are comfortable. They are coming, they vote, they go. It is automatic. I will win because we have used the machines, biometric machines, and these machines actually they are very better and good, because if we are not in register, the machine rejects you.
The machine works, but the moment your name is in the register, we try either to take the photo from the face, shaking the head like this. So in case it fails to pick the finger, the thumbprint, but we use the face.
The exercise is going on well, but the turn-up is somehow little compared to the previous elections, but we hope for the best.
So far, so good. The exercise is moving on well. There has not been chaos. People are responding well. And most of them, as they vote, they go back to their businesses or to the farm to dig and all that stuff.
Let's go to Hoima now, where there was panic among candidates and residents of Bulindi Town Council in Hoima district after several mayoral and LC3 councillor candidates found their names and photos missing on ballot papers on voting day. The incident disrupted voting in some polling stations, forcing electoral officials to halt the exercise in affected areas. Take a watch.
As voting continued at various polling stations in Hoima district, some centers received ballot papers with errors, including missing names and photos of candidates. Kajura Moses, a mayor candidate for Bulindi Town Council, expressed disappointment after finding that his name and photo were missing from the ballot paper.
Mayors, they are not the ones which they have brought to our polling stations. Actually, all the polling stations, the 4 polling stations, and it is generally in all Bulindi Town Council, it is the same thing.
Twikireho obusani bumazire kutihayizire obusani bwaitu bwa councillors, then haija amabara na symbols zaitu zibaire zizire kyonka kandi ekitusingiye kututalibanizamu nti ebisisani rundi obururu bw'abakuru ba meya baitu tibusoboire kwija
tusangire obururu nibutakusoma kunu nibusoma handi.
Voters also expressed frustration after turning up to vote but later returning home upon realizing their preferred candidates were not on the ballot paper.
Everyone has brought the challenges and the people are complaining, and some are complaining that they are wasted the time. Now we don't know what will the next, because we are seeing people are going back home.
To tell us a way forward so that we also inform our voters. Then we see what we can do again. We arrange the elections with our voters.
Although there was tension in Bulindi Town Council, voting went on smoothly in other areas including Chabigambire, Kabale, Kitoba and neighboring districts of Chikube, Bulisa and Chankwanzi.
But the voter turn-up is too low. Actually, since morning up to now, almost only 40 voters have turned up, and which is discouraging us, the contestants. And the main issue as to why voters are not turning up in big numbers, voters need to just be picked at home. You have to get transport means.
Most LC3 chairperson candidates and councillors are contesting on the NRM ticket, while others are running as independents. The Hoima District Returning Officer Hassan Takwana confirmed that challenges were registered in some polling stations.
Tufunyemuko okutaatakanizibwa ku makya bwe tubadde tutandika okulonda mu Bulindi Town Council twesanze nga bakandidate obwerosifiri chairman erosifiri nga bonna kiba Bulindi Town Council. Kati bwe tugeddemuko ne bakama baffe e Kampala netokkiriziganya nti tusazeemu okulonda kujja kuddamu kutekekebwe ng'abantu abaliko be Bulindi bennyini abeewandiisa.
Let's cross to Busia now, where local council 3 elections were successfully conducted in 20 sub-counties in Busia district, except in Majanji sub-county, where the Electoral Commission suspended the LC3 election following the death of one of the 2 aspirants. In the remaining sub-counties and town councils, voting started as early as 8 a.m., with most candidates on the NRM ticket expressing confidence in securing the mandate of the electorate. We do apologize for that, but that story is still being worked on. We shall give it to you when it is ready. But now let's go to Kasese, where voter turnout in the LC3 elections in Kasese district was low compared to the recent presidential, parliamentary and LC5 elections. Some candidates attributed the low turnout to irregularities experienced during the previous elections, including delays in the delivery of voting machines and challenges with the biometric verification kits.
Although biometric machines were used in most parts of the country during today's LC elections in Kasese district, the gadgets were blamed for delaying the voting process.
Materials came late. I started voting at around 10 a.m. The machines are working, but the problem, they are slow.
Some candidates noted that the verification systems differed from those used during the presidential elections. Hilda Businge Mate said that if re-elected LC3 chairperson for Hima Town Council, he will prioritize drainage systems, road infrastructure and healthcare services.
We still have challenges of drainages. We want to work on our drainages in Hima Town Council. The people are really affected by floods. Then the other is to work on the extension of more taps, because as you know, the population has increased and therefore we need to increase on the coverage of water in Hima Town Council and at every cell. We still have a challenge of schools, education. In Hima Town Council currently we don't have a government-aided secondary school.
Nya Teresa said some voters failed to be verified by biometric machines despite their details appearing in the register. Mumbere Gidson of Kitswamba Town Council said voting was proceeding well at his polling station and expressed confidence of re-election, citing achievements including the construction of boreholes and installation of solar power water systems. He pledged to address water challenges if re-elected.
It's possible. The turn-up is very okay, and today we have used the biometric machines. Where I have voted right now, the machine is working very well. There are no delays. For example, even during this exercise, even before, I have done quite a number of activities. First of all, I tried to make sure that I install solar lights on all boreholes in the town council. I made sure that I also put desks in some of the primary schools.
Katebere of Bugendabara and Solongo Daniel of Kitswamba sub-county confirmed the low voter turnout.
One of the issues that we must tackle is bringing our people together. Appreciating ourselves as the people of Kitswamba, not looking at ourselves as Basongora, as Bukonjo.
To other news now, and the judiciary has resolved to develop a comprehensive judicial wellness policy aimed at promoting the health and well-being of judicial officers as a strategy to improve case management and service delivery. Chief Justice Dr. Flavian Zija says judicial wellness is not a luxury but a critical pillar for effective justice delivery and institutional performance. This was announced during the closure of the 3-day annual Judges Conference held at Munyonyo here in Kampala.
The conference brought together judicial officers from across the country to deliberate on reforms to improve justice administration. It was officially closed by the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao. Minister Mao urged judicial officers to embrace alternative dispute resolution mechanisms as a practical approach to reduce case backlog. He pledged continued support to the judiciary but also challenged lawyers to adopt ADR, saying litigation shouldn't only be the last option.
The judicial officer should actively identify cases suitable for mediation or arbitration early in the process to reduce backlog and costs. 3. Empowerment of parties. The judicial officer should encourage litigants to maintain control over the resolution process, which often leads to higher compliance and restored relationships. 4. efficiency and proportionality. The judicial officer should balance the need for a full trial against the time and resources saved through alternative mechanisms. And 5, neutrality.
Minister Mao commended the conference theme, Judicial Wellness, as a tool for effective case management, describing it as timely and relevant to the realities faced by judicial officers.
Judicial wellness can only be achieved if the judiciary and indeed the entire justice system adopts dispute resolution models that minimize stress.
Chief Justice Dr. Flavia Zeija outlined the key resolutions from the conference and called on judicial officers to implement them across their jurisdictions.
The policy gives a strategic direction on how you want to move in respect of awareness, in respect of training institutions uptaking ADR, in respect of case management. There are quite a number of resolutions who have come up with, as you noticed inside there.
With courts expected to handle election-related disputes, the Chief Justice urged judicial officers to prioritize election matters to prevent prolonged case backlog.
Well, you know, under the law, election petitions take precedence over other matters. In fact, when they file them, we are supposed to suspend everything else and deal with them. So ideally, what we are saying is that election petitions must be given priority so that the judges can complete them in time, so that the people's representatives should be those chosen by the people themselves.
Chief Justice Zeija reaffirmed his commitment to tackling corruption within the judiciary, noting that it undermines public confidence in the justice system.
That the moment you are caught in any corruption scandal, you don't have any space in the judiciary. You must go home. So in other words, we are going to implement a zero tolerance to corruption approach. However, of course, as you know, corruption sometimes can be actual or it can be perceived. Sometimes what we think are corrupt practices are actually perceived corruption.
The conference was attended by justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal and Constitutional Court, High Court judges, and other judicial officers. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nance Subuga, UBC News.
The Office of the Prime Minister has rolled out a weekly staff fitness program aimed at promoting healthy lifestyles and preventing lifestyle-related illnesses among its workforce. The exercise sessions were led by the Assistant Commissioner and Head of Human Resources at the Office of the Prime Minister, James Sanya, together with the Head of the Prime Minister's Delivery Unit, Robert Kasule Chibidige Sebunya, on behalf of the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja.
kituyambako teamwork netubeera awamu ng'aba abaana b'omunjeemu ate era ne tuyamba n'emibiri gyaffe obutatuula nnyo kudevelopinga okufuna crops okugejja omugejjo n'ebirala byonna so kirungi nnyo n'ebitongole byonna bya gavumenti byetabe mu kukola exercise eyo.
Mukisa guno ne tujja wano ne tuba nga tukola ebintu nga bino.
News tonight will take a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get more goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165 *80# or use the Momo app.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Welcome back, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Now, let's go back to one of our main stories today, and of course that is the local council elections that took place all over the country, and we're going to Busia, that story that we had introduced earlier on but had glitches, but I understand now it's ready, and it is about the local council 3 elections that were successfully conducted in 20 sub-counties in Busia district, except in Majanji sub-county, where the Electoral Commission suspended the LC3 election following the death of one of the 2 aspirants. Now, in the remaining sub-counties and town councils, voting started as early as 8 a.m. with most candidates on the NRM ticket expressing confidence in securing the mandate of the electorate. Take a watch.
Were reported in Masinya sub-county, where NRM flag bearer Nasichonje Geoffrey accused the sitting member of parliament of interfering with the electoral process. The NRM chairperson for Busia district, Isaac Mwanguzi, said the voter turnout was slightly higher compared to the previous elections, attributing the improvement to joint voter sensitization efforts by party leaders and electoral stakeholders. He noted that leaders play a key role in implementing government programs at the grassroots level.
But I know they are going to vote me. There's just been a speculation of money whereby the current member of parliament who lost the election, so he's using a lot of energy. He wants to uproot me from the seat because I was against him. I was against him because he didn't work for the people.
We have done our part. One is to mobilize for the party and market our flag bearers, and even give them platforms to engage, that engagement. So I'm very confident that we are going to perform as a party, and we have been making those assurances to our people. Those are the voters. We have the voters and the supporters. These are the citizens. These are the beneficiaries of the services. So we have been able to sensitize the community, sensitize the members of our party, and even those ones who are not in our party, that the elections we are going to have today is the elections of service delivery. And it is more effective. It becomes easier for us as leaders of NRM to work with the candidate who is in the party. So basically, and that's why you have seen a lot of people have picked interest to ensure that they deliver a leader who is going to ensure that the services are delivered to the grassroots. more especially our flag bearers. Yes.
Elections for LC3 chairperson seats in Mukono district started smoothly in most areas, although voter turnout remained low in some parts of the district. Stephen Mufua, contesting for the Nachisunga sub-county seat on the NRM ticket, called on voters to prioritize the fight against land grabbing, which remains a major challenge in the area.
As the Electoral Commission concludes elections for chairperson positions, voting in Mukono district generally began smoothly, with voters turning up at polling stations despite low numbers in some areas. In Nachisunga sub-county, Goma and Dinama, turnout was relatively good and voting materials arrived on time. However, in Chimenyede sub-county and Mukono Central Division, voting was delayed due to low turnout and logistical challenges.
It has been so good. I've been around the sub-county. Things are moving. Only few challenges that the machine, not good well, but still is working.
Lydia Nantumbwe, a presiding officer at Chitega A polling station in Mukono Central Division, said low turnout delayed voting as they failed to meet the minimum number of witnesses required to begin the exercise.
We started the polls at around 8:30. Not because we came late, but people delayed to appear, of which we had to get the first 10 witnesses before the polls.
Candidates from Mukono Central Division, including Uma Sebuyong of NRM, Stephen Chamagwa Independent, and Susan Nseseps of NOP, pledged to improve sanitation, youth development, healthcare, and service delivery if elected.
Nachisunga has been a place where land eviction has been a talk to every person. Many have been evicted, many have been displaced, and we feel that in our time in office, no one in Nachisunga will be evicted.
We are concerned about the water supply within our localities. We are looking at collecting revenue. We are looking at those loads which are under Mukono Central Division, and so many other things that we have. But mainly, we are going to start with coming up with a vocational institute to help the youth with getting skills.
They also called on government to provide facilitation for candidates in local government elections. Haji Jimmy Rubega, the incumbent chairperson and candidate for Chimenyede sub-county, expressed concern over the low voter turnout and urged government to amend the Electoral Act to give priority to grassroots elections.
Health workers in the Kigezi region providing anesthesia services in government hospitals have undergone training in regional anesthesia, a method that numbs only the affected part of the body instead of putting the patient into full sleep, reducing risks and complications. The 3-day training was held at Kabale Hotel, Makanga.
The head of anesthesia services in Kigezi region and medical training lead at Kabale University, Dr. Isabella Epio, has said the medical faculty has spearheaded the program for the past 3 years, with annual reviews held every 31st January.
Increasing access to safe anesthesia here in southwestern Uganda. Well aware that globally, 5 billion people worldwide lack access to safe surgery, and a lot of this could be improved by increasing access to anesthesia. While we have several surgeons across the country, even in Kigezi, even in Kabale where we are still short-staffed in terms of anesthesia.
She explained that regional anesthesia improves patient safety and recovery outcomes, but noted that more health workers still need to be trained.
Increase access to anesthesia, Recently, we've had a new equipment being purchased for our hospitals. We request for training for the users of this equipment and also to ensure that the drugs like sevoflurane, isoflurane that are used by these anesthetic officers on the new machines will be provided.
She further noted that limited resources continue to affect the expansion of the program across hospitals in the region.
Anesthesia needs to change, the airway needs to be protected, the anesthetist needs to proceed to what she well knows what to do, but possibly does not have the right equipment. We need to ensure that each of these centers that handles mothers, that handles deliveries, that has been put to a level of having a theater, has all the equipment that we need to deliver. Small things like laryngoscopes, the drugs, I mean, not to only buy local anesthetic drugs, but also to ensure things like saxamethonium are available.
Benny Kamagaju, principal anesthetist, emphasized the need for increased support from the Ministry of Health to equip hospitals and train more personnel.
So during our training, the participants were able to pick everything. They are happy. We've given them skills on life support. We've given them skills on safety in anesthesia, where we looked at the surgical safety checklist. We looked at unanticipated difficult airway. We looked at life support, basic and advanced life support.
He added that increased government funding is required to enable all hospitals in Kigezi region to adapt regional anesthesia services.
Incidence was tranexamic acid toxicity. The other incidents, 2 incidences were PPH on table, but we tried to figure out how we can reach them. However, the challenge we have is funding. At times they call you, if you look here, look there, there's no transport, there's no what. If the funds would be increased more, then we would be able to serve you more and better.
Anesthesia.
We looked at different things that are basically crucial for the patients, like resuscitation. We looked at that. So
now, as the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, prepares to mark 45 years of Tarehe Sita, the force is scaling up support to Uganda's health sector through medical outreaches and major infrastructure investments. This milestone highlights the UPDF's transformation since transitioning from the NRA to a professional national army. Haruna Mtesa Sira gives us more.
Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF is actively supporting the Ugandan health sector through a combination of large-scale medical outreaches and infrastructure development.
The country has put a lot of concentration on health care as a pillar for its socio-economic transformation program. And this project directly speaks to the vision and to the national development plans.
UPDF constructed a national referral hospital in Mbuya, which is nearing completion.
A project of this magnitude, you would not want to start everything at the same time. It's always wise to start by piloting, and then you open up departments one by one. This hospital is a 275-bed capacity hospital at the current phase, but there is also a subsequent phase where we shall have an additional 100 beds for cancer and the heart unit.
Colonel Dr. Ronald Nagamba, the CEO of the UPDF National Referral Hospital, said the facility meets international standards and will serve military personnel and civilians.
And when you look at the services that are going to be provided here and the quality that is going to be provided here, the facility is going to improve access to quality health care, both to service personnel and to members of the general public at a tertiary level.
The hospital comprises of 6 interconnected blocks. Among its standout features include the emergency evacuations, VIP treatment suites, and advanced diagnostic and surgical department.
It's an entity, it's an asset of government. The services shall be provided on a private not for profit, such that we can keep the services affordable in order to be able to meet the challenge of access and quality. So UPDF, wherever it has been, the health facilities are open to the general public, and it shall be the case here. So members of the public, once the facility is open, it is your facility, and it has been established.
UPDF has continued to strengthen its capabilities and engaging in social transformation projects, a testament to its core principle of being a pro-people army. Haruna Mtesa Sila, UBC News.
Very impressive facility there at Mbuya. Now, gender-based violence remains a major concern in Uganda, with more than half of married women reporting physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. To address the challenge, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, together with the Impact and Innovations Development Centre, convened a national forum to promote positive fatherhood and responsible parenting, particularly among men.
According to the 2022 Uganda Demographic and Health Survey, about 56% of every married women aged 15 to 49 have experienced physical or sexual violence from a partner. Experts note that while women and children are most affected, men also face emotional and psychological abuse at home, though such cases are rarely reported due to stigma.
And you see the sign still you turn left.
In response, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, together with the Impact and Innovation Development Centre, are promoting positive fatherhood. Families are learning how to share responsibilities.
The forum brought together government officials, civil society organizations, and community leaders to explore how strengthening fathers' roles in caregiving can reduce domestic violence and improve child well-being.
Today's program is like experience sharing on fatherhood. If you look at the theme, it reflects or it brings out the essence of quality nurturing and upbringing children and the role of fathers. And as per what I have already shared, we have evidence from AfriChild report, which we commissioned in 2011, indicating, for instance, 10% of fathers don't know their children. That's very strange. 45% are not connected to their children emotionally. 45% don't contribute financially. And even those who contribute financially, they neglect the emotional touch that is connecting your children right away from early age or infancy stage up to when one becomes an adult. Even beyond adulthood, we need fathers in the real life.
Ansley Mwandega says Impact and Innovation Development Centre plays a vital role in equipping fathers with positive parenting skills, communication and conflict resolution techniques to discourage the use of violence in homes.
Working with young fathers, their spouses, under the mentorship of eminent persons in communities who are called mentors. So these mentors have been able to support the young fathers to complete the mentorship cycle, which lasts for about 7 months and culminate into community celebrations. After we done that, the team that was doing assessment, evaluation on whether our method was working came and did that assessment, and they really found out that this program works. That's why we are happy and glad to share these findings with
advocates. Warn that progress will remain limited without sustained funding. They are calling for increased investment in fatherhood programs, stronger legal protection, and expanded support services for survivors of gender-based violence. Nals Wawini reporting for UBC.
The Minister of State for Transport, Fred Byamukama, has urged the youth to stop depending on politicians for survival and instead invest in 4-acre model farming to create wealth. Minister Byamukama made the call while addressing over 100 youth from Kikube district during their study tour to Karoli Kamanyire demonstration farm in Kikwaya village, Kakumiro district. Byamukama advises the youth to emulate his 4-acre model farming project, from which he earns about 72 million shillings monthly through enterprises including poultry, piggery, dairy cattle, coffee and pineapple growing. The minister further emphasized that after politics, both voters and candidates should move on without regrets and engage in productive activities for their livelihood.
Giving them in rallies, in meetings, Kakuyege, but now what next? Because now politics is done completely. What next? People should go back to their business, their income generating activities, and they make money. So that by the time the 5 years come, they will have money. These are younger people. The eggs are very productive and you can get good money. They can embark on coffee with banana because at the end of 2 years they will be harvesting. And also, they can embark on other businesses like cocoa, such that this life after politics, they should prepare to be making their own money. The sources of income, we have the man available, a mioga, you can get funds and get the seedlings, PDM. Even when the youth are organized, the government can give some support and grants. The youth should stop begging money from politicians. They should stop asking money from politicians. Because a politician will not give you money until you die.
As here, ideally we are learning a lot as youth because we people of Down.
Minister Byamukama advising the youth there not to stop begging politicians but rather engage in productive enterprises. The National Unity Platform NUP has urged its candidates and supporters dissatisfied with the outcome of the recent elections to seek legal redress through the courts, describing this as the lawful path to reclaim what they believe is their victory. Like other opposition parties, NUP has rejected the presidential election results announced by the Electoral Commission, which declared National Resistance Movement NRM candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni winner over NUP flag bearer Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu.
The National Unity Platform has also assured the public that its leader, Robert Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Bobi Wine, is in good health, although he remains in hiding due to security concerns. Party officials and newly elected NUP leaders reiterated their rejection of the election outcome announced by the Electoral Commission, citing alleged irregularities and electoral malpractice.
A substantial number of DR forms which we can compare, and we challenge Byamukama to release those DR forms which they used to declare the results they were declaring. You saw what was happening at the Tale Center without even showing where the results are coming from.
NUP Secretary General David Louis Rubongonya said Kyagulanyi is safe, secure and in good health despite remaining in hiding. He was addressing the media at the party headquarters in Makirire, Kavule.
First of all, to bring greetings from our President, the Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. Our President, what we can confirm is that he is alive. None of us knows where he is.
NUP leaders challenged the Electoral Commission to provide the evidence on which General Museveni was declared president, adding that the party has sufficient documentation to contest the results in court.
National Unity Platform rejects 100% the results which were read by Byamukama. One, because they did not have basis. Up to now, Byamukama has not put out the DR forms which he was relying on to declare things.
NUP Treasurer Katana Benjamin dismissed claims that the election outcome is final, saying alleged vote rigging does not mark the end of the struggle for electoral justice.
Deepest appreciation to the people of Uganda for embracing the message of protest vote, for mobilizing, for voting, for protecting the vote.
Leader of Opposition and NUP spokesperson Joel Senyonyi condemned what he described as widespread electoral fraud, noting with concern that in some areas the number of votes cast reportedly exceeded the number of registered voters.
An election is not an event, as some people like to think of it as. It's a process which begins with the time people express interest, people are able to go out and consult, that's allowable in our law books, campaigns, then eventually the election, D-Day, then post-election, all of that is the election process.
Senyonyi also criticized the Masaka Court's annulment of the victory of Rose Nalubowa, who had been declared Woman Member of Parliament for Masaka City by the Electoral Commission, describing the ruling as shameful and unjust.
It was far from really what an election should be like. So anyone that participated at any level really deserves to be congratulated because of what we did go through.
He further called on religious leaders, cultural leaders, and leaders at all levels to speak out against what he described as growing cases of abductions and kidnappings in the country, urging collective action to protect citizens and uphold human rights.
We are calling on religious leaders, we are calling on cultural leaders, opinion leaders to speak out regarding these matters. It's not enough for the religious leaders, as we hear them many times, they call on the people of Uganda, please be peaceful, and then they promote all these campaigns, I choose peace, and so on. It's not enough for you to demand already peaceful people to be peaceful.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at business news now. A retired flight captain, Feroz Kimji, an aviation expert with 45 years experience and a former fleet safety officer at Uganda Airlines, has shed light on how building a highly competent technical and management team with long-standing airline industry experience can help steer the national carrier through its current operational challenges. He says starting with 6 aircraft was a strong foundation, and that expanding the fleet to 8 or 10 could strengthen operations. Take a watch.
Uganda Airlines is the national flag carrier, revived from the defunct airline which operated between 1977 and 2001. The current carrier resumed operations in August 2019 with 6 new aircraft, including 2 wide-body long-range Airbus A330-800 jets and 4 CRJ-900 aircraft. In March 2021, Uganda Airlines received the world's youngest aircraft fleet award from Chi Aviation, a Switzerland-based aviation data and analytics firm. The airline again won the youngest fleet in Africa award in 2024. Where these achievements reflect strong potential, public concern has grown over recent operational setbacks following reports of internal management challenges. In this second part of the series, we engage Captain Kimji Feroz, who also previously worked with Singapore Airlines, on how the national carrier can emerge stronger despite the turbulent times.
Now that we are again, constituting a whole East African community region, now it's a much bigger region. And we put it to our regional partners, if at all they would still be keen to do a regional project. for an airline, not just a standalone national airline, Uganda one, Kenya one, Tanzania one, and so on and so forth, South Sudan, what have you. So we could do a good job, but we have to make a fresh start with some proper recruitment based purely on merit of good people of integrity. And then we look at what we can do with the aircraft that we have at the moment. Can we switch those to some different models, different types? How best can that be achieved? And then we put a proper business plan in place, and then we take it from there.
He says starting with the 6 aircraft was a strong foundation and that expanding the fleet to 8 or 10 could strengthen operations. However, he emphasizes that the key challenge lies in establishing strong operational systems to prevent failures and appointing top-level management with proven aviation expertise and with minimal political interference.
Oh, definitely some track record in the industry. Industry stakeholders with a minimum of 10 to 15 years of experience in the industry. Some of us have got 45 years plus. Know-how, business acumen, integrity, so that with integrity comes accountability, naturally. And with integrity of character comes service delivery, dependability. Those are some of the most important personal characteristics of a management team, together with people who are good at teamwork. You must be able to work as a good, well-oiled team and work together cohesively so there is synergy. Team synergy brings about a lot of very, very good, very efficient way of doing whatever you're doing, right? So team players, highly experienced people in the industry who know the nitty-gritty of how an airline works inside out, be it engineering, be it catering, be it flight operations, be it commercial services, etc. And then deterrence, strong deterrence against misdemeanors, embezzlement, funds going missing, fleecing, and these kinds of bad practices. If you have strong deterrence and you apply those deterrents, naturally the misdemeanors will die a natural death, this kind of thing. Yeah.
Crispus Arinitwe, UBC News.
Thanks, Crispus, for that story there. Now, Tanzania's ambassador to Uganda, Paul Simuli, says regional trade is a key driver of economic growth and shared prosperity. The ambassador made the remarks at Port Bell, Luzira, during a courtesy visit to MV Mpungu, a mega roll-of vessel operating along the northern and central corridor routes. As the global shift toward greener transport gathers pace, members of the regional business community are now calling for incentives to boost the use of water transport across East Africa. Dennis Sigoa reports.
The MV Mpungu is a roll-on-roll-off vessel, so our ideal customer profile would be a transporter who owns, in layman terms, I would call it a trailer. So rather than go overland and sometimes spend days at the border trying to cross, you just need to bring your truck, put it onto the vessel, and then depending on where you're going, say for example if you're coming from Tanzania coming to Uganda, the journey would take you about 18 hours from Mwanza to Port Bell, whereas if you had to go overland via Mutukula border, that journey very easily can take you anywhere between 4 to 6 days. So I think for the transporters, this is the main value add, in the sense that you will significantly save time and be able to get more use out of your asset. If you have a truck, instead of, let's say, doing one trip from Tanzania to Uganda in a month, very easily, if you use our service, you can easily triple the number of trips that you do in a given month.
But now, if we have such multimodal, someone is going to be able to, if I'm moving by truck or SGR, I will move from Dar es Salaam, Mwanza, I'm going on the ship, 18 hours, my cargo is ready here in Kampala. and you can access it at any point in time. And I appeal to government that they speed up the finishing of Bukasa Port, because if you never finish Bukasa Port, it will be easy to connect the Namamve people where they have an industrial park. And also lastly to government, we do not have incentives in the logistics sector. You find that, for example, here, if you're importing a truck, you are supposed to pay 25% on importation of a truck. And also maybe are having to encourage investments in these some of this infrastructure. We need to have incentives, encourage the private sector to come and invest here, because now it is private sector. And I hope doing more and more, government will be able to benefit as also as the private sector also benefit.
And in Tanzania, we have actually to strengthen the trade so that we can raise our economy. So this is a big achievement for the Uganda, but not only for Uganda. It is also for the East Africa community. Yeah, so we have to be proud of it.
And that has brought us to the end of this bulletin here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. Coming up next here on UBC TV is Super Soul Sisters with Jamila Oluka, and that will be followed at 10 by Behind the Headlines with Timothy Nyangweso. But on behalf of the entire news crew, it's good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school